Hey guys, so today I thought I would talk a little bit about my gestational diabetes and what I did when I found out that I had it. So first of all, I didn't have it with my son. I took the drink test. This time around, I didn't want to do the drink after researching, so I decided to poke my finger for a week, even though I have severe needle anxiety. So I did the finger poking for a week, and I had one high number in the morning for my fasting glucose. It was 111, and I had one lunch high number and like 2 or 3 dinner high numbers. I think my highest dinner number was 185. So I was of the mindset that if you have it, all your numbers are high, and if you don't have it, all your numbers are low. So I didn't know what it meant that I had these few odd numbers that were high, and then most of them, all of them basically were low, like around 90, 80 to 90. But apparently if you have one high number, my OB said, you have gestational diabetes. So what they do when you have gestational diabetes is they refer you to a nutritionist, and they also make you test your blood sugar for the rest of your pregnancy. And so I went home that day devastated, and I blogged about it, and I cried, and I had panic attacks because I thought I'd only have to poke my finger for a week, and it was incredibly stressful to think about doing that for the rest of my pregnancy, which maybe I'll make another video about how I cope with that now and the things that I do to get me through that. So what they do is every 2 weeks they give me this sheet of paper. I'm covering up my information right here, but I write down my meals and I write down my testing. Now because of my anxiety, I can't test every single day. But I do test at least twice a day. I always test my fasting glucose and then usually my after dinner one, because my husband is the one who does my testing for me. So he's here for the morning and he's here after dinner. Can you eat your chicken fries? Why don't you go feed one to Pooh Bear? Anyway, after researching, I decided to go low carb. And as I said before, I was already paleo. If you know me, I've been paleo for 3 years due to a lot of reasons. It's really too much to go into. So I was already eating around 100 grams of carbs a day. So I decided to do this thing called the Keto Diet, which I read a lot about it and decided it was best for my pregnancy to make sure that I didn't have to take medication or insulin unless I really, really, really had to. So the Keto Diet is when you're pregnant, it's from 30 to 50 grams of carbs, or as low as you can. You want to keep it under 50 grams of carbs, and it puts your body into ketosis, which from my understanding means that you burn fat instead of carbs. So my husband did the keto diet when I was pregnant with Ruben, and I remember being really upset with him because he was losing so much weight and feeling so great, and here I was gaining weight with Ruben. But he quit soon after birth because birth was so stressful. So he was really, really, really helpful when I started. I eat a lot of vegetables, meats. I do eat dairy now, even though I probably shouldn't eat it so much because it still irritates my gut a little bit. And I was shocked at how I felt on the keto diet. So even paleo solved a lot of my serious autoimmune issues that I was having, but it didn't heal me all of the way. I don't know if I can be healed because of the way my body is, and that's a whole nother video. But I gained more gains, more healing from the keto diet. For example, my mental clarity is amazing. I've never been one that can remember things short term, like someone spits out a number or a name or a place or directions, and I've never been somebody who can remember that. And on this diet, I can remember it. It's easy. And honestly, that shocked me because that has never happened to me in my life. So maybe I've struggled with high blood sugar before previously and never known it, or something about this diet, it just has really revolutionized my mental clarity. It's also really helped my brain fog and my energy. So I have a lot more energy, and I have less of that sleepy, brain foggy feeling. I also don't get that hungry. I feel more full and satisfied after meals. So I've been on the keto diet for about 7 weeks now. I started at 26 weeks when I found out my gestational diabetes diagnosis, and I'm going to continue to do this until I give birth, and maybe even after. I do like the paleo diet, and I've been paleo for 3 years, but I might continue testing a little bit after birth to see if maybe I have some kind of type 2 diabetes or some kind of insulin resistance or something. So right now I'm 33 weeks, and all of my numbers are pretty good. They want my fasting to be under 95, and sometimes it's like 96 or 97. But I know that my insulin needs are going to go up the more pregnant I get, so I may have to end up taking medication or insulin. But I want to try to keep it diet controlled for as much as possible. All of my after breakfast, lunch, and dinner numbers have been completely fine. They've all been below 100, and they want those to be under 120. Now, I want to say that I'm testing 2 hours after eating per my office. Some people test an hour after eating, and they want it to be under 140 then. So there is a difference based on your provider. The fasting number is what from my research, and I'm not like a doctor, and I don't know much about diabetes. This is my first go with this, but they say the fasting number is hormone controlled, like it's an overnight thing. So there's really not much I can do to lower that on my own. I have noticed if I exercise about 30 minutes after dinner, my fasting in the morning will be about 10 points lower. And I've also noticed if I wake up earlier, like say I wake up at 6 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., my fasting is also lower. And I don't know if this is just a me thing or if this is something true to every single person, because as I said, this is my first go around with the keto diet and pregnancy. So a lot of people will try to fearmonger you and say you need carbs to grow a baby, and I'm still eating carbs. I'm eating 30 to 50 grams of carbs a day. I'm eating when I feel hungry. I'm eating lots of fresh vegetables, meats, dairy. I'm still eating food. But I feel like this diet is extremely safe. I was low carb when I had gestational diabetes when I was diagnosed, and I was having high numbers of 180s, and you know what I mean? Like, that's dangerous for my baby. So if I can have a diet that can control my gestational diabetes and keep my numbers low without medication, then that's good. I think that's amazing and totally healthy. And I did tell my OB, you know, what I do. I've talked to her about this diet. They haven't said anything negative about it. If anything, they're impressed by my numbers, and I'm glad that at the place I go to, if my numbers can't be managed by diet alone, I have to go to a high-risk doctor. Be quiet for 1 second. Let mommy finish the video, okay? 1 minute. So that's really... Ruben, can you let mommy say one more thing? I gotta say goodbye. Then I'll be all done, okay?
Goodbye.
Okay. So that's really all the information I can give you about the gestational diabetes right now. If you have any questions, leave it below and I'll try to give you my perspective on it. And I hope this video was informative. I love the keto diet for gestational diabetes.
I want mommy.
You're on mommy right now. It's amazing, and I hope to have a really healthy... a really healthy baby
Bye.
in January.
Ah!
Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Don't. You can't push on mommy's belly.
Can I turn it off?